So I'd like to walk down a path to success for the well-rounded person with you tonight. And we're going to just kind of go through some of my experiences as well as some things I find really quite interesting. So the path to success, ultimately it comes down to there's many different paths, and it's kind of up to you as you are developing to choose which path you're going to be going on. So how do you correctly choose that path? There's a little bit of a criteria here. First, you need to understand your direction. It's kind of where you're going to go and why you're going to go there. Then you got to understand your destination. There's a start and there's a finish. So what does that look like? Ultimately, the start is more important because you need to start kind of collecting shared interests as well as understanding who you are. And then throughout that trip, there is the idea of planned stops. So with every journey, it requires refueling, restocking, and refocusing. Especially as you're young and you start collecting more experience and you start understanding who you are, you will start needing to kind of change direction and tweak your direction so that you can reach your final end goal. And again, as I said, as you travel, you will mature in experience, and that path becomes more and more clear as you go. So today I want to talk a little bit about my path. My path was interesting. I was 14 years old. How many of you guys are 14 or 15? Okay, good. And I didn't know what I was going to do. I was a freshman in high school, came in and said, hey, my best friend, Kevin, he's going to go out for track and field. So, hey, I ran when I was in elementary school. I even won a ribbon. I'm fast. I'm pretty excited about this. So that's all it took to start my path towards the track and field. So as I walked to the track, I literally had somebody grab my sweatshirt, just like Ryan's sweatshirt, grab that hood, and pull me into the gym. And I was like, where am I going? And it was the coach for the volleyball team. He said, oh, volleyball practice is in here today. So I go, oh. And so I walked into the gym. There's a bunch of people staring at me. They're about to start practice, and coach exclaims to them, hi, this is Allan Vince. He's starting today to play volleyball. And of course, I looked at everybody as they looked at me, and I had words of wisdom, and I said, okay. Again, that's all it took. All it took was somebody guiding me into where they thought I would be best suited. And that was the volleyball opportunity I had. And through that time, this coach said to me, while you're here, I believe in you. I think you can go far with this. So I want to take time to disciple you and to train you with everything I know so that you can succeed in this. What better thing to partake in when somebody shows you that they're interested in helping you develop into the person you could be? So it started with the idea of goals made, goals achieved. And these were meant to be clear, concise, and realistic. So I had some work to do. Because here I am, I don't know anything about volleyball, and now I have to make goals that are clear, concise, and realistic. But through that process, what I did realize is that I'm a kinesthetic learner. I need tangible things to help me learn. So this next slide shows you that a kinesthetic, tactile learning style requires that you manipulate or touch material to learn. The characteristics are tactile, okay, you touch to learn. Energetic, which means you have energy enough to continue to understand how to learn. You're good at sports. That's just a natural byproduct of being a kinesthetic learner. You're coordinated. You take all the different skills and gifts that you have and you put them all together to choreograph something great. And you're organized, so you know where to find those skills and where to find those gifts. And your study habits, you use role play, so you picture yourself in the environment or you picture yourself doing well or succeeding, and then you achieve afterwards. You build models. You like to have a beginning and an end, and then the whole process of building is exciting to you because, again, you're using your hands and you're using your mental acuity. You enjoy the outdoors because you're sensual. You like the smell, the sight, the taste. You like all these things, and they help you to absorb information. You like to conduct experiments, and you like to use gestures to memorize. So that kind of dictates what a kinesthetic learner was, and that's what I learned as I was making my goals. Okay, so here I am sitting down going like, oh, by the way, I have no experience in volleyball. How am I supposed to make this list? Okay, And maybe some of you guys are saying the same thing. I don't know what I want to study in college. I don't know what sport I want to play. I don't know what I want to do when I get out. It's fine, okay? But the advice I was given was, nothing is off limits, dream big, right? It sounds cliche, but here's where I want to inspire you is to say, just make the list. Get crazy, okay? And put everything down that you can think of that you like or that interests you. Again, things will change as you get more mature and more experienced. But initially, just throw it down on a list and say, this is what I want to achieve. This is where I want to go to school. This is where I want to live when I'm older. This is what I want to do. Okay? So I'm going to share with you what a snapshot of my list looked like in 1996. Anyone was born then? No? Okay. So I was in high school. Again, I was 14, had no experience. And I said, okay, fine. I'm just going to write my list out. I want to be player of the year. I want to graduate and be a part of my Hall of Fame in my school. With club volleyball at the time, I said, I want to win the Junior Olympics. And then I want to be selected for the USA Youth National Team. Okay, then I said, well, if I can do all these things in high school, then I want to go further. I want to go to college. I want to obtain a four-year, I want to go to a four-year university and obtain a degree. I want to win a conference title for that team. I want to win a national title. How about that? And I want to graduate with honors. Again, mind you, I was 14. I wasn't the best student. I like to be outside a lot. And then I said, okay, let's keep moving. I want to be a member of the men's national team when I graduate. I want to go play professionally overseas. I want to have a lucrative career. And then I want to compete for an Olympic Games. Again, here I am sitting laughing at myself because this is impossible. I have no experience to back this up. But because I put it down, and because I put people on my list to keep me accountable, now I was accountable to at least trying. And I can stand before you and tell you that I experienced all of those things. How is a 14-year-old, just like you guys, or a 15-year-old, say, I just put down whatever was crazy, and it happened. So I just want to encourage you that just try. Just put it out there and go for it. Because you never know what you're going to learn through the process of achieving your goals. You never know where those goals are going to take you next. So, I don't know if you saw that, but on the end I said, create and share my artwork. And you're like, that's not volleyball related. And that's kind of where I want to go with my talk is a well-balanced life isn't just linear. It's not one thing you do well. It's a collection of things, a collection of events, a collection of personalities. It's a diversification of who you are. And it's okay to pursue other things because essentially that's cross-training, okay? And so I was able to also pursue my other interests, which was art. I love tinkering in the garage. My wife is very patient with me. And I like to make found object art with used objects. And it allows me to just get more, again, surgical, building models, getting my mind off things and getting more focused. And the funny thing is when I'm in interviews or when I've interviewed before, on my resume I put that I had won first place at the Reagan Library for an art contest. And despite my resume, they want to talk about that. Why would you want to talk about that when I've got all this other stuff I did? And it's because what I've come to know is that people want to know who you are outside of what you say you do. They want to know what kind of person they are recruiting, what kind of person that they are bringing into their organization. And they want to know that you can diversify, that you can be abstract, that you can think outside. So this was kind of a bonus to my pursuit. So physical ability cannot be the only vehicle for success, okay? Being excellent at something takes much more. It takes balanced character, okay? So, got you a simple diagram here. 4 pillars of a balanced life. It's being physical, spiritual, mental, and relational, okay? So I want to first talk to you about what's a good example of someone who's physically there, like they've got it made. This guy or girl is somebody that you say, wow, this person is amazing. I want to be just like them. Okay? You're probably thinking of the same person I am, and that's Waldo. Okay? Waldo's my physical hero, okay? Because look at this guy. He's a world-renowned traveler, a planetary explorer. He's a time traveler. He's a sportsman. He's an activity enthusiast. He's a cultural guru. Okay, he's always physically prepared to go out and explore. Okay, and this is a depiction of Waldo as a Vitruvian man, which is Leonardo da Vinci's rendition of just the connection between man and nature. And somebody smarter than me decided to put Waldo in that position, which I think is absolutely correct, because he is somebody that encompasses the physicality of somebody that has access. He can go anywhere, and he can be anywhere at any time. Okay, and I challenge you to tell me, where has he not been and what has he not done? That, to me, is the definition of someone physical. So again, it kind of gives you encouragement. Go out and do things. Experience cultures. Go travel. Meet people. Okay, that adds to who you are, and it allows you to have a balanced life. Okay, the other component is the spiritual component. Okay, this is taken from the Christian Bible, from Galatians 5:22, which are the fruits of the Spirit, but I think these are universal. These are qualities that every person should have. Okay, the next component is mental. Okay, the mental side of a balanced life, I think, is encompassed by mental toughness. Okay, and that's consistency. Again, every day is tough. Okay, we're not promised an easy life. It's going to be tough. So we need to come at it prepared mentally. Okay, so research suggests that mental toughness, or grit, plays a much more important role in achieving your goals over talent and intelligence. Do you believe that? Okay, this is a wonderful revelation, because it doesn't matter if you weren't born tall, if you weren't born fast, if you don't have fast twitch muscle movement, if you weren't born a certain way. Genetics has nothing to do with it. This is a choice you can make. I'm going to be mentally tough here. I'm going to sustain, I'm going to be strong. That's your choice, and you have the power to do it. So with this study, that's a wonderful thing, and that's a quality that is highly desired in the workforce and in college, really. So it's more about a commitment to habitual learning, consistency, and less about the short-term motivation, as sometimes motives are fickle and superficial. Okay, successful people stay consistent despite the circumstance. Remember that. Okay, so here's just kind of an exercise I want you to do. Look at these different circles and just kind of speak to yourself and say, what am I currently working on? What am I working towards? What am I giving a lot of my focus to? Is it discipline? Am I disciplining myself the way I'd like to? Is it grit? Right now it's tough. Right now I'm trying to get through something, and I'm showing consistency and grit. Is it conviction? You know what? Somebody is asking me a lot of questions, and I'm standing my ground, and I'm able to say, here's who I am, and this is what I believe. Is it your identity? Are you confused at saying, I don't know who I am or what I'm doing? Okay, COVID is kind of one of those things that causes you to be confused. A lot of things have changed in this world because of it. But that shouldn't change your identity. You should know who you are and what you're capable of. Okay, consistency. Again, that mental toughness. Are you staying consistent? Are you committed to the things that you've committed to over the period of time that you've committed to? Okay, so just start thinking about that as you look at this picture and saying, how am I exercising my mind today? Okay, the thing that as a coach, any time that I tried to ask this question, most of the time I can't, coach. I asked, hey, can you draw? I can't. Can you cook? No, I can't. Can you play volleyball? I can't. Well, I'm not recruiting you. But all that to say is, don't use the word can't, okay? Because you're all capable of success if you just accept a little challenge, okay? So try to remove can't and put in place won't. And then you start talking about, am I willing or am I not, okay? Because you can, and you have the opportunity to do so, okay? But like I said, accept a little challenge, okay? So accepting challenge. The last component is the relational component, okay? How well you interact with and relate to others, okay? This requires communicating effectively. It requires giving undivided attention to those who are in your circle. It requires actively listening, being relatable, and showing trustworthiness, okay? So this is a call to action, because This list is really difficult to do online or through a phone. It takes eye-to-eye contact. It takes a hand on the arm. It takes a hug. Okay? When you can get close to your friends or get close to people who are hurting in a way that is personable, then you will learn how to relate. Okay? So again, those tools are fine, but it's a call to action to really work hard at your friendships and your relationships and be intentional about building trust and building a successful down-the-line relationship with that person. Okay, so just a quick story. As a talent scout, so again, I had 10 years as a collegiate coach, and it was my job from the Division I standpoint to the Division III to evaluate top recruits, okay? So this was my kind of criteria that I used when I was evaluating. I said athleticism, can they perform? Okay, so that's usually what you see. That's the thing that catches your eye or the reference you get from somebody. Secondly, are they relational? Are they coachable? Okay, can they understand information, process it, and do it? And then 3, do they have a mental acuity, which means can they think critically under stress? Okay, so as a top athlete or as a top person who requires performance, these criteria are typically what you're looking for. Okay, and if anybody had 2 out of the 3 or 1 out of the 3, like they're a phenomenal volleyball player, man, they were athletic, they could jump high, hit hard, but they weren't coachable, I was going to pass. Okay, so when you start thinking about this, okay, this criteria is hard to attain. But if you can, and this is again that well-roundedness, that balance, if you can start to draw your skills and your gifts and your talents, and you can start to create yourself as a bigger person, then you can draw from experiences and fill in these topics and only get better. Okay? But you've got to be confident in these areas, or else if you're a one-track person, okay, again, this is what happens in businesses and all these other places is personality tests are given and they figure out what kind of person you are. Those tests are pretty accurate. Okay, so start thinking about diversification. Okay, so my takeaway challenge for you today is embrace the 4 pillars of a balanced life. Don't be afraid to accept challenges. Strengthen your testimony of triumphs and trials. Share your stories and advice with others, for these experiences are more valuable than silver and gold and will make others wealthy. Okay? It's your testimony, and it's how relational you are that's going to, again, be the wealth that moves forward in your relationships and in your success. Okay? So start your path of success today. Thank you.